You know you make me feel so alive. I wanna stay with you, never say goodbye. It's like we're in paradise, like we're in paradise.
Good morning. Today is our excursion day. We are headed to Pearl Harbor and check out maybe some local eats. Mike's been talking about what's called Jollibee.
We're not going Jollibee.
Oh, I guess we're not going there. So you'll find out when I find out.
We're going to Moco Loco place.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot. We've been talking about a bunch of different things. So Mike knows that I love Loco Moco, so I guess we're going there. I'm excited. I looked at the menu last night and it looks really good. What's up, baby?
When we get there, what is the first thing we're gonna do?
I have no idea. This will be a new trip for me too. I heard them the other day. There's fighter jets. I don't know if you can see them.
It's Maverick and Goose.
It is. Maybe they're promoting Top Gun.
Chicken's really so good. Crispy.
Michael's very excited. But they don't have these in the mainland, right?
Yeah.
Oh, where's it at?
They only have one in Texas. It's in San Antonio.
Oh, that's right. You did say that. Yeah, I had never heard of it before.
Oh, you know.
Jollibee. So this is pasta and chicken. I'm gonna try the gravy. Yes.
Want to take your shirt off, Aaron?
This actually tastes like what KFC used to taste like. Like it's good.
How's the hamburger?
What does it taste like?
Tastes like a burger.
Oh.
Take your shirt off.
Yeah.
That was good. Here, I'll get it out and give it to him.
Yeah, that's all you. It's sweet sauce.
Is it good?
He's trying to.
I could eat a bucket of this chicken.
The chicken was really good. Yeah.
Where am I going?
Did you have a bite? Mm-hmm. Is it good?
Yeah.
There he is. You can take one of them out front.
The beef.
Sometimes they have them roaming around.
Oh, really? It's like the cow at Chick-fil-A. Yeah, that chicken is legit. I can't even imagine what the gravy is. If you put the gravy over that rice, oh my gosh.
What?
That mango pie is good.
Oh,
They're
good.
famous for that.
Now we're off to the Loco Moco place. Yours looks good. What did you get, buddy?
Cheeseburger.
No. Open it up. Oh, I thought you said grilled cheese. Grilled cheeseburger.
What are you eating, Mom?
The best thing ever. Loco Moco. We've arrived. Now we just have to find a parking spot.
a 3-hour layover in Kona.
See the outline?
Turnboat arrives. So if there's any other part of the memorial that you would like to see, I highly encourage you to break off of this group and go do so. To allow those around you to pay their respects to the fallen. What that means is there is an expectation of 0 personal conversation taking place until you're off and return back to the visitor center. On behalf of the National Park Service, welcome to the USS Arizona Memorial.
There's more of this ship.
One of them is strong force spirit and during the national service. Those 3 are the USS Utah, the USS Oklahoma,
Aaron. Just taking a picture.
neighborhoods, small towns, big cities, states, and a whole nation. What happens in years to come? This memorial, I guarantee you're not able to hear it related to someone on that wall. So what's happening to those of us who aren't related to someone on that wall? And equally as important, when you're in the back shrine room, you'll see along the side walls a mosaic, a structure that's called the Tree of Life. And what the Tree of Life represents is healing. Specifically healing between the people of two nations. The people of the United States and the people of Japan. So this memorial is a place of mourning and healing. But if there's anything else, with the USS West Virginia on the outside of her, and south of that, moored on the inside, would be the USS Maryland, with the Oklahoma on the outside of the Maryland. And if you knew where those ships were that morning, you could infer just what type of combat they'd see. You see, the ships that were moored along the outside were more likely to see combat by one of those torpedo planes. When those torpedo planes arrived in this harbor, they would cross from east to west, approximately 30 feet above our heads. Well enough for you to see the face on that pilot as he was dropping torpedoes or other munitions on this harbor. And the USS Oklahoma and West Virginia would be struck with 8 to 9 torpedoes apiece. Oklahoma would capsize, taking with her 429 sailors and Marines. West Virginia would appear to have a similar fate, but her crew was able to flood her just right so she'd sink on down to the bottom of this harbor. She did return to sea combat in World War II, but never fought to her full potential. On the other side of Ford Island, the USS Utah also saw those torpedo planes that morning, and to this day is still at the bottom of this harbor. Now comes the ships that were moored along the inside. You see, the USS Maryland and the Tennessee received more damage from the debris of other ships falling on them than they did munitions from enemy planes that morning. And the USS Nevada at 8:02 a.m. would have some of the first sign of hope in this harbor when she became the very first battleship to record shooting down an enemy plane and the Pacific theater of World War II. Now comes where we're at right now, the USS Arizona. Arizona was not hit by torpedoes that morning. As I mentioned, the Vestal was located alongside the Arizona. The USS Vestal would have unintentionally taken any of the torpedoes meant for the Arizona. Instead, the Arizona would be hit by 2 bombs falling from above. First one hitting a little bit closer to the stern, not doing much damage. But these were large bombs, 16-inch round, about this thick around, about this tall, the weight of a Volkswagen bomb. And that second bomb would come and strike the USS Arizona, right between gun turrets 1 and 2. And if you can't see this map in front of me, take a look in the water right out there. You see gun turret 2 right above the water. On the other side of gun turret 2 is where that bomb would crash through 4 decks of the USS Arizona. Forward magazine. 1 million pounds of munition in that forward magazine, setting off a compounding explosion, by some accounts lifting the Arizona 10 to 20 feet out of the water. Her hull would snap and she would sink right where she is today in less than 14 minutes time. That released oil on this water about 2 to 3 inches thick. And that oil would stick to you if you attempted to swim through it. Most of that oil burnt at 8,000 degrees for several days after the attack. That created a large cloud of smoke rising above where we're at right now. And if it was a bit windier, you'd feel the wind traveling towards the south, right where you have one ship capsizing, another ship sinking down to the bottom of the harbor, 2 more ships trapped in from escaping from those sinking ships, with the wind carrying that cloud right over where all that's happening. Men swimming to shore to save their own lives. The majority of the men who survived that day were never able to discuss what they witnessed in this harbor. That's why it's so important that we tell their story. The men that were able to talk about it would account that all hell was unleashed in this harbor that morning. And then through that large cloud of smoke, the sailors and Marines see one friendly ship sailing on by towards the mouth of this harbor. It was none other than the USS Nevada, a ship that put hope in the hearts of all the sailors and Marines, because they truly believed the Nevada was on her way to avenge what was taking place in this harbor. But there was a few issues with what the Nevada was trying to do that morning. You see, this harbor is one of the most shallow harbors that the United States Navy uses. It's only about 40 to 50 feet deep in most places. And the mouth of the harbor, so extremely narrow that at that point it would have been one-way traffic, one ship in or out at a time. The crew of the Nevada knew that if their ship was sunk in the mouth of the harbor, that it would prevent any aid ship from coming in or any other ship from escaping this harbor. So the crew of the Nevada took their ship and they ran her aground, intentionally beaching and sinking their own ship to prevent blocking off the mouth of the harbor. Now, I mentioned earlier on, only 3 ships did not return to sea combat in World War II. Was the Nevada one of those 3 ships? Y'all feel free to answer that.
I'll say no.
No, she was not.
That's
You see, Nevada would get her repairs, and she made it all the way through the war. In fact, the Nevada was the only battleship that was in both this harbor on December 7th, 1941, and off the coast of Normandy
Oh, wow.
for the D-Day attacks
Oh, wow.
in June of 1944. But there's more to this. You see, the Nevada had a sister ship, a ship of what she carried the legacy on as she progressed through the war. And if you remember the names of all 3 ships that never left this harbor, you have a 1/3 chance of guessing the Nevada sister ship. The USS Oklahoma and Nevada were sister ships, meaning Nevada carried the legacy of the Oklahoma from here to Iwo Jima to Normandy. Now, speaking of Normandy, who can name the 5 beaches at Normandy? Omaha, Gold, Juneau, Sword, Utah. Which beach did the Nevada fight off of during the D-Day attacks? Utah Beach. Tying the name of the USS Nevada to the legacies of 2 of the 3 ships that never left this harbor to see combat in World War II. The Nevada started firing over Normandy. She fired so much into Normandy that she ran down her own guns. They were declared unusable. But she was such a reliable ship that the Navy wanted to replace those guns instead of scrapping the ship. Where did those replacement guns come from? And I'll give you all a hint. If you went scuba diving on the Arizona this afternoon, you would find 3 of her 12 original guns.
Oh, wow.
Where did the other 9 go? Well, 6 of them were on the north shore of Oahu, used as coastal batteries, only fired in drills. But 3 of them, specifically the 3 from gun turret 2, that you see above the water over there, went on top of the USS Nevada. Forever tying the Nevada to all 3 ships that never left this harbor to see combat in World War II. Truly a ship of hope. Now, the Nevada had a very unfortunate fate after the war. You see, the Navy decided that she was aging and had no use for her, so they turned her into a target ship. They hauled her out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, and they tested not 1, but 2 atomic bombs on her.
Oh my gosh.
She survived both of them. And then they took the USS Iowa, put new guns in the Iowa, shot the Nevada for 3 days. She still didn't sink. What finally sunk the Nevada was when the Navy decided to test the same shallow water torpedo technology that was used against them in this harbor. It took 1 to sink the USS Nevada, forever lost at sea. Or so we thought. There's been a lot in the news the past 2 to 3 years. So I understand if you missed this one story. But in May of 2020, the search for the USS Nevada was successful. And they found her just 65 miles south of where we're at right now.
Oh, wow.
So I'm going to wrap up with this. No matter how chaotic your life has been the past 2 to 3 years, no matter how crazy world events have been at the same time, at least we have back with us today the USS Nevada, a ship of hope. Now, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for coming out to the USS Arizona Memorial this afternoon.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Mommy.
He was a good storyteller, huh? That was really good. Very emotional though, but the park ranger was a very good at retelling the story. I thought it was really cool. All right, back on the boat, kiddos. Oh, here's about the USS Oklahoma and the USS Maryland. I think this is maybe it from that. Let's see. This is the lone sailor statue. Oh wow, recovered from the USS Arizona.
What is that?
It's the anchor. Wow, look how big that is. This is a list of all the survivors. represents those crew members who were assigned to the great warship Arizona. They were a fortunate few that survived the catastrophic destruction of their ship shortly after 8 a.m. on December 7th, 1941. These are people that were possibly on board and got off. However, in some cases, crew members were away on liberty leave, detached from the ship, attending school of training, or assigned to a special duty ashore. Wow. There's so much history here. It does make you emotional. Helicopter coming in. It says the USS Bowfin. It has the submarine hull ring. The wow.
And then
That's crazy. Lots of tours that you can take. That's the one we just did. This actually takes you to a bunch more different places. Some information if you're because that's Tree Live. Remember he was talking about it? It's the setup of the how the ships were set up, right? Is how they flanked the.
But they also like battleships.
We are. Look at it. Look at it.
Selena's on.
Can I put this out?
Rest in peace, Selena.
We are headed out from Pearl Harbor and seeing the USS Arizona. And what do we think, kids?
It was very cool.
Yeah, it was very cool.
I got a plane.
Yes, the kids both got model planes for them to build. What do you think, Daddy?
Love it.
Did you shed a tear?
It's cool.
Yeah, it is emotional
We got to see
though.
oil this time. You don't see it all the time.
Yeah.
Teardrops, as they call it.
Aw, that's sweet. I thought it was amazing. They had that plaque there as far as some of the survivors who had passed wanted to be buried in there as well. And they said when they put the urn in there, they feel a pull from it, and it's like them being pulled back. Oh, I can't even say it without getting emotional. Getting pulled back to the ship, so it was really cool. It was awesome. Definitely worth going. I mean, the tickets were like $4 each. Yeah, it's you know, obviously, yeah, it is. It's just more so this price they can control the crowds and stuff too, and get, you know, somebody for the parks, because the park ranger does it, and then obviously the Navy takes you out there on their boats, and it was definitely a great experience. I highly recommend you do it if you haven't done it already. And with that, we're headed back to the resort. We're probably gonna pull it for a little bit. We've got a nice dinner tonight at Nina's, which I'm not gonna vlog because it's a really nice dinner and I kind of really want to enjoy myself. So we'll see you next time. Go live your DisGoals. Bye.
Bye.